Good evening. It's Wednesday. It's one of those West London Wednesdays as well, and we've got a treat for you tonight. Most of these courses on these West London series are designed around courses in West London, places we know, and we decided to take a little excursion out. We've done it before. We went to Belgium once before. This time, though, it's Caribbean, and it's Dominica, and this was inspired when I was out there a few years ago and actually witnessed the bike race on this very course we're going to race tonight. So this is actually a real-life cycle racing course that Dominicans race on. You can see it goes along the coast, hugs the Caribbean coast there, under the cliffs there. It's a volcanic island, goes up very steeply, and I suppose most of the Caribbean islands are volcanic, of course. Up then that loop up to Canefield by the local airport there. That's not the main airport you fly into, but there is an airport there. Back round onto this little dual carriageway section, past the start and round to the finish, where the Deepwater Harbour is, where the big boats have to dock because they can't get into the old Towns port. So that's where it is. It's the Nature Isle. It's sandwiched between Martinique and Guadeloupe, if you are familiar with the Caribbean, and it's about midway down the chain of islands. So it's reasonably flat, but undulating a little bit, as you can see from the elevation in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We're 128, 127, 126 away from the start. Let's have a look at the rankings. Where this is going to get interesting is the best of six, but let's start with general classification. Alistair McAlpine and Jan van Oudenaarde I've got a real tussle there, just 14 points separating them. Rob Miller from R3R in third position there could actually nip in there if any of them really had a mechanical or something like that. But this tussle at the front is really, really exciting at the moment. Nevertheless, have a look over the best of six. This is your best six results. And the thing is, James Melville's on 6 races and the people around him are on 7. But look at Wouter Claes, for example, on 5. He does one more race and he gets up to 6, and it's your best 6. So you can add sort of maybe 100 points onto that, and suddenly he would be top of that league. So it's all there to be raced for in that best of 6, and I think that's where the excitement, the running is going to be. Glasgow United dominating the teams, West London Ladies dominating the ladies team. Maria Vitsky, Aileen Davison are tussling it out, I think, for the ladies league. Just 20 seconds away from the start now of this undulating course set in the Caribbean. Let's see what the start line looks like. So here we are, and looking fairly flush. Of course, we've got a festival of fun here on Wahoo RGT this summer with Chase the Yellow, and I'm delighted so many people are turning out for these with that going on. And off they go, racing away a little bit. Not everybody getting a quick start there, and you need to get a good start on these. Jan van Oudenaarde, Stevie Cooper from Glasgow United up to Alistair McAlpine, Aileen Davison up in the front group. Oh, that's great for her. Some Scottish, look at that, 4 Scottish saltires. Alistair McAlpine, A. Walker, Aileen Davison and Stevie Cooper, the first 2 from Glasgow United, of course. So Scotland very well represented. And Portugal, though, on the front, Santos is taking the lead ahead of Grant Webb at the moment. Hendrik Ganotse is back for South Africa, New Zealand. Unfortunately, Johan Olofsson has just told me that he's got Bluetooth issues and won't be joining us tonight. Wouter Claes, who could be going for the best of 6 up there in that. Kanai from Japan. Who else we've got? Jan van Oudenaarde. Secured a bag back. Haven't seen Secured a bag for a while, so absolutely brilliant. Grant Webb off the front now for New Zealand. And he's just been taken over by Jan van Oudenaarde. We're looking out for the R3R jerseys there. It's not as dominated by light blue jerseys as it often is it? Wonder if that's going to change. We've certainly got Rob Miller up there and Jan van Oudenaarde. So they're well represented at the very tip of that, but not as many sky blue jerseys as you'd normally expect. Alistair McAlpine, hot, just marking. This is like the Tour de France. The front 2 there just marking each other, and you can see everybody being marked. And guess who comes up the front? Moon Riders, Wouter Claes, the man who has missed a few races but still got his eye on the best of 6 competition. And, of course, the perennial James Melville. So 2 Glasgow United, 2 R3R riders, one from Speedwagon and one from R3R, and, of course, Wouter Claes from Moon Riders. Now, they're a little bit ahead of the others. Somebody chasing to get on there, and it looks like Stevie Cooper, which would mean 3 Glasgow United riders in the front group. But the front group itself is now being split by a real push from Rob Miller. the man from R3R from the USA, is absolutely pumping it out up front. 50 kph. They're on a downhill, of course. So this is quite slightly undulating course. It does go up and down, even though it's on the coast. The coast comes out very steeply on this volcanic island. So you see the gap there now, about sort of 20 meters now between Marino Cesson and Danny Stein just behind him. He's moving away from Danny Stein. I think Cesson is trying to bridge the gap there for ADR, the Italian. Can he get across? And he certainly seems to be midway between the two groups at the moment, doesn't he? And Andre Koneski and Hamilton from Canada, Danny Stein from Sands, Will Brown, haven't seen Will for a while. Good to see you back, Will. And, of course, Carlos Dickerson, one of the Sands riders in 15th. So, all-star cast up there. Good to see you back, Will. And Cesson's got back on. Great. I mean, he's always had a bit of a kick, this lad, hasn't he? He's quite good at it. So, the front group has grown substantially now with a bit of a merger. Andre Konetsi is trying to get on now too. So, maybe... we'll have to see. Oh, Cesson drifting off the back a little bit as they go down that little dip. Hopefully he'll get back on, or he's absolutely tired himself out. He does one of his little kicks, and it looks like him and Andre are going to get back on. 50 metres back to Danny staying behind. But Hamilton now, the latest, trying to get on that front group. And I think that nobody's pushing. It's Ryan Hamilton. I don't think anybody's pushing particularly hard at this moment in that front group, but it looks like somebody could be going off the front. The pressure, it's fragmenting. It's James Melville. He likes to do this. Glasgow United rider, splitting that, and I think that's going to make it very hard for Ryan Hamilton to get back on now, as James Melville strings that out. The bunch strings out Wouter Clay's marking it. Jan van Oudenaarde is up there. But where is Alistair McAlpine? He's in 4th place. He's bridging the gap. You can see those red, white and black Glasgow United teams. Helai, the Japanese, now in 5th. Moving up to 4th, in fact. Now, this group is a little bit strung out itself, but it's well clear from anybody behind, isn't it? We've done just under 3 kilometres, and they really pushed themselves out. Andre Konetsi and Ryan Hamilton there. And they've got 120 metres on Carl Dickerson, Will Brown, Top Jimmy, Gautam Thakkar, Matt Feely, and others. Craig Jones in there, I see the Welshman. Will Brown just chasing to get back on. And here's that second group. They can see Will Brown ahead of them, Gautam Thakkar there, and Top Jimmy riding for West London. Alongside, who we got? Danny Stein, as I said, and Matt Feely, one of our long-time participants wearing the Ukraine shirt there. Great to see you, Matt, representing Ireland, of course. Now, these guys have got, I suppose Danny Stein is just behind them. We've got some, then there's a little bit of a gap back to Stu Thorne, A. Walker, Santos, who's on the front very early on, the Frenchman as well. This is getting a bit strung here, isn't it? There's a bit of pressure on the front. I think Stu Thorne, he didn't ride for our TTT team yesterday, so he's probably got fresh legs. He's marking Shields. Santos now drifting well back after that stint on the front earlier on. It's all good fun to get on the front, but you need to, if you drop back, try and get in a group. As Lafitte comes along, France and Portugal now. Will Lafitte go by? Thierry Lafitte there, the Frenchman. Will he go by, or will him and Santos work together now? There's a big gap back to Ian Salisbury and Eileen Davidson behind that, Marshy and others. So they're not going to get caught anytime soon. Ian Salisbury, Eileen Davidson using the wheel there. Great to see Eileen's husband in one of our races earlier on the week, albeit on another platform. I hadn't made the connection, but he did very well. He's great. Marshy now, the Englishman, Carcella, the Spaniard, and Liebritz, the Dutchman, now forming a little bit of a trio here as they've got Marshy just behind them, in fact. So it's, there's Marshy coming up now. So therefore, it's a nice little trio there. Back to Gilmore now, the Englishman, a bit solo. Not a great place to be. 172 metres. The next person, 150 behind, is Lasnik, the Slovenian by the look of it. Where are the Lee Perry, one of my favourite names riding for West London. Got Maria Vitsky on his wheel, so a bit of teamwork there between the West London riders. Maria going for the ladies. Migu Canada in that as well. Perennial riding partners, I think, Migu and Maria. A little tussle there, 4 places. And So we have, I think, something like 41 riders on the road, and Sea City Base is maybe more actually. No, it's I think it's going to be about 40 riders. Something. Jessica Wright in 37th. Marcin Schluderek at 39th. There's something wrong there. Marcin's not a slow rider. He's riding at 25. There's something. The Moon Riders guy from Poland. There's something there. The man from Wrocław is a faster rider than that. So something is awry. I think he's got a technical or something's gone wrong. And Carcella, the Spaniard, 39th. And Van de Beers behind him. It sounds, Van de Beers, my initial reaction is it sounds like a Dutch Flemish name, but he's a Spaniard. Maybe there's a connection. And Tom Alsop in 44th, but not riding by the looks of things. So obviously stuck at the start or had a technical. We go back to the front and we see the familiar face of Wouter Claes on the front from Kanai, the Japanese leading. Familiar to have Yushi Kanai, the Japanese, taking the lead. This is coming together a little bit, which suggests they're not putting that much power on. Very slight gradient of 0.2, riding at 38 kph. I was finding this. Stevie Cooper off the back of that group. Now that is a surprise. Stevie Cooper is, I would expect to stay with that group. Now he finds himself a bit in no man's land with 11 kilometres to go, and if you sit up too much, the next group catches you, which can be a good thing because you're in a group, or a bad thing because you lose all the advantage. Ryan Hamilton is the next person behind him. It'll be interesting to see what Stevie does. It's very easy to drop off the back. A moment's lack of concentration, lose 20 metres, and it goes fast off the front, and it's very hard to get back on. Looking back, secure the bag in there. The Australian rider, top rider too. I haven't seen him in one of these races for a while. Great to have him back, and he's adding a bit of spice to that front group because he's a man who can win a race. Mate, mark my words, he's won before. So we've got a very select bunch here as we get the side view, thanks to Damon from ZMS. They're going up a little bit of a ramp now. Look at that, 8%, but only momentary. I wouldn't make it that hard for you. Yeah, it's like great shots from Damon. Don't forget, if you haven't been in Chase the Yellow yet, says Damon, giving us a wave. Chase the Yellow, only 2 races left. That's tomorrow night, Thursday, and one on Saturday. Make sure you're there. This has been the big success story this year on Wahoo RGT. An excellent competition, if I may say so. These are the stages. You've missed these. You're going to have to wait for numbers 8 and 9. You can do those. But look what you missed out on. Look at this. Stage 3, they were out to Wes. Well, I'm glad that was a night I was doing other things. They're very varied courses as well. You see Sister on that one, not too bad. Albertville to Shell, though. In fact, despite being in Albertville, not too steep. Melbourne 2, there's no way you can flatten that one, I'm afraid. Stage 7, Sallyen, reasonably flat too. So, very achievable. I raced a few of these when I could. The train drivers made sure I got home at Montpellier. I think I've done that one. Versailles to Paris, which is obviously going to be flat, and that's Saturday. So make sure you do one of those. They're varied times during the day. You don't have to have a set, you have to have a set time because there's 3 opportunities to do it. Great racing, and this has been the big story recently. Getting back to our own story, though, we have 3 on the front, just pulling away from James Melville. It includes Van McAlpine and Claes. Now, these are the 3 protagonists who are really chasing honours, I think, in this. I'm not saying it's the best of 6. Wouter Claes is the only one, but it's certainly wide open. But I think Wouter Claes could suddenly come into that game if he gets a good result tonight. Top 3 will do, and I think he'll probably take first position. Now you can see we're getting back into Roseau by the deep harbour. You can see the finishing line just below you. We're going to do a little bit of a loop. This is a dual carriageway in real life, and we just go through the gap, turn around and come back on ourselves through that finishing line by the deep water harbour. This is slightly more built up than this. The beach is on our left, the rider's right, so when we turn around, the beach will be on. So here we go. So we're going to turn here towards the sea, and in real life, as we go back round, we'll be going along by the seafront along to that deep harbour. So this is on lap 2 where the sprint will be. 2 laps here about now, so just watch out for this. If you look at the bottom, you can see the profile, very sort of flattish because we're almost on the beach here, so there's not going to be much gradient. 0.4 it says here. You can see the finishing line. So this is a sprint they'll be doing in lap 2. As you look from that brilliant aerial view, thanks for that, Damon. I think that gives us a very good picture of what it looks like coming along through the finishing line there as we start lap 2, or at least the leaders do. So James Melville in there. So we've got 8 riders in this group. Stevie Cooper now 200 metres behind, but he's still got a healthy gap of 200 metres on the group behind him. Andre Canetzi and Cole Dickerson, Will Brown. So he must be working very, very hard. Stevie Cooper, strong rider. So Grant Webb in 14th behind Ryan Hamilton, just a little bit off Will's group there. With I think Will's with who? With Carl Dickerson and Andre Canetzi. Seem to have dropped Gautam Thacker and Top Jimmy a little bit, this group, haven't they? They've and Will Shields, Stuart Thorne is not with that group, so it's very strung out here. Shields now in solo position. Stuart Thorne on his own as well. Stu's a strong rider, as I say, though hasn't, to my knowledge, ridden this week, so probably has fresh legs and will manage that. So we see another Salto with the Walker in the green. Danny Steyn from South Africa, Santos from Portugal. So they are not quite halfway. They're coming around to the finishing straight. If you look at the bottom, you can see we're looking at the leaders now, and you see the blue triangle just gone over that steep little ramp there. That is the leading group, and every other little white triangle is a rider or a group of riders. And you can see how strung out it is, because there are riders only halfway through the first lap at the moment. Nevertheless, we turn back to the first group, James Melville. As I say, these are familiar names. We see these most weeks. Kanai, less regular rider, but great to have him in there. And of course, Secure the Bag, no, but haven't seen for a while, and we're delighted to have him back. Great name too. So just looking at this group, Secure the Bag, just to run over it again, I think you're familiar with all the names. The house, if you watch any of this or participate in it, these are household names down there. Wouter Claes from Belgium, James Melville from Dumbarton in Scotland, Jan van Oldenau, the Belgian as well. Secure the Bag from Australia, Alison McAlpine, I think you mentioned him, he's just moved places. And Rob Miller from, I think he's from New Jersey, I might be wrong, but certainly the eastern seaboard of the United States, I believe. Who else have we missed? I'm not sure. Kanai, I don't know where Kanai is from, actually, apart from the Japanese flag. So can't actually comment on that. I wonder if he's actually riding in Japan or is a Japanese from elsewhere. James Melville is chasing Wouter Claes. He's got a few metres. This is a bit early for Wouter, but he's got these strong pushes that can string it out and leave people behind, as we just remind ourselves what the course looks like. They're on this section now, but for the second time, so they're going round the cliffs where a road's been built out into the sea. You can see all this in real life. We have on our YouTube channel a real life video of this route, which I went out and did earlier this year. And then they do the leap up by Canefield, by the airport, and back down exactly the same road. And doing that little loop where the dual carriageway is by the supermarket and back to the Deepwater Harbour. So can I now put another push on the front? I know less about this rider than everybody else in there, but he certainly looks strong. Roland Sesson is back in, and that's 8 riders in that group now. 500 metres ahead of Stevie Cooper, and this is what happens when you start to drop behind. And Stevie Cooper is about to be caught, I think, by Ryan Hamilton and the others. And Sesson now on one of those surges on the front that he does, pushing it out. And who's marking him but Wouter Claes, of course. Will the others do anything about that? Stevie Cooper about to be swept up by the next group. I think he'll almost be relieved to get into a group. It's hard doing it on your own, and I think you should just get in and sit on the wheels there. Wouter Claes being drawn in. Can I, the main chaser there? Looks like the two. This looks like a couple of people drifting off the back a little bit, but they do tend to come together again after a little while, because some of these pushes on the front don't last for too long, and if you can stay within touching distance, when they do finally sort of slow down a bit, you can get back on. The trouble is, if you don't stay within touching distance, you'll never get back on. So see what happens. These pushes off the front, they keep happening. This is a tactic we've seen in the later series. We're in late series 7 now. I mean, series 1, I think everybody used to sit in the peloton and try and use the draft and do a sprint finish. Those tactics seem to have gone by the wayside in most races now. It's very much about splitting the pack and getting a group away. And people like the Glasgow United riders and the R3R riders, particularly Rob Miller, are very, very good at this. Ryan Hamilton not using the steering and losing the draft there. You need to use the steering to get over. Two things. Use steering to make sure you're in somebody's draft to save effort. You can see, if you look at the top left-hand corner, you see the saving 100 watts or something. That is telling the rider what wattage they're saving by being in a draft, as opposed to being out on their own. Secondly, use the steering to get on the inside of the bend. Everybody going around the centre there. Now, I do have some sympathies. I did a time trial this week with our team, unexpectedly, as I got home late and just missed chased the yellow, as it happens, by 3 minutes. And I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, I'll turn up for our team's time trial. And the thing was, rather than try and get everybody to shift to the corner of the bend and sort of make a mess of it, it was easier to stay on the in the line and just sort of go around the middle of the course. Now, I'm sure some of the other TT teams have got this down to an art where they can all communicate and get around the corner, but we haven't perfected that by the looks of things yet, and it was easier to sort of kind of sit where you are rather than try and cut the corners. So I do have some sympathy for some of these riders where they could gain a little bit by going around the corner, but it's just simpler to sort of sit where you are and take the draft. I have no idea whether the mathematics support going around the corner on the inside or sitting in the draft as to which one benefits you the most. James Melville, one of the stars of all this, yet again off the front. Wouter Claes. I ought to be sort of like, I'm probably in the middle of the night. My wife probably hears me reeling out these names because I say them so much. I probably reel them out in my sleep. But these really are the stars of these. And Kanai has the ability to be a star too, by the looks of this ride. Really putting some top riding in to contribute to this group. And Secure the Bag, as though not so regular, another great contributor. Although Secure the Bag not really doing the pushes off the front, so one wonders if he's taking the draft rather than being a protagonist in the race. And I think actually Secure the Bag and Sesson might be drifting off this group now, as James Melville puts another spurt on the front, which will make it even harder for them to catch. So Sesson and Secure the Bag now a little bit of a drift backwards. So Rob Miller, Rob Miller off the back. Now that is a surprise, and I'm hoping Rob Miller gets back on. I mean, it's one of the great contributors to these races. 3 kilometres to go. I think there's no danger of him losing 8th place. And maybe that's just what he's going to do, although he's getting closer and closer to Sesson. Maybe he can sit on the wheel. Maybe the two of them can get together. They can see the group in front. Rob Miller goes past Sesson. So there's no... he's not going for that. It's a gradient here. Maybe that's the effect. 4.6%. Both of them struggling a little bit on the gradient as Kanai and the others go tearing off into the distance. The gap up to 50 metres. That's going to be hard to pull back with only 2.7 kilometres left. Rob Miller giving us away. Teammate Jan van Oudenhout is up there, and he needs speed because between him and Aston McAlpine, look at them, neck and neck. It's like Vingegaard and Pogačar, isn't it? It's like the Tour de France with the two main guys going for GC just sitting there marking each other. Wouter Claes wanted to do more as they lap a back rider there, and that shows how fast they're going, that they can actually get past riders still racing, who will be on their first lap, of course. And Wouter putting it out a bit, 2 kilometres to go. That's quite early, but I think he probably feels he can do this. Kanai is probably the unknown quantity here. Melville holding on. So Wouter hasn't shaken them off yet, and I don't think that either of the two GC leaders will be too bothered about this. Secure the Bag now, and that answers the question I asked earlier, wasn't it? Is he just sitting in the draft struggling, or is he actually just saving energy for the end? And he's clearly got the energy at the end because he's joined that front group. Jan van Oudenhout has as well. He isn't quite. Aston McAlpine's ahead of him, so he needs to make up as we go past some more riders at the back there. James Melville holding on Secure the Bag. Alistair McAlpine is well clear of Jan van Oudenhout, and this will be a big day for Jan. Unfortunately, the points difference won't be massive, fortunately for us, because it keeps it exciting. Jan van Oudenhout now with 1.5 kilometres to go, absolutely powering away, 41 kph, and he's going to overtake the 40th rider on the field, but the gap ahead of him is just getting that too big now. It's 70 metres. He's not going to make that back in 1.26 kilometres. So, from the GC perspective, Alistair McAlpine is sitting pretty. If he can actually if he could finish first and get 4 riders between him and Jan, that would stretch his lead. On the other hand, if they go past him, he's only one place in front of Jan. The 80 odd metres that he's got on Jan at the moment will only still mean 1 point, because it's your position that scores you the points, not how far or fast you were in front of the other riders. So Alistair McAlpine has a vested interest in this sprint, but Wouter Claes does too. He wants that 6 of the best series. James Melville is just one of our seasoned competitors who likes to race every time, and it's these 3 pulling away now from Secure the Bag. But we think Secure the Bag's got some energy left in the tank. He's certainly ahead of Kanai. He's not out of this yet. There's 600 metres to go. Kanai looks like he's being distanced after a sterling effort on the front. But it's these 4 now. I think Secure the Bag's back on. Fantastic riding. He's really calculated this. And he's sitting on the back of this one now. Has he got that final sprint? They go round the final bend. They're going to come into the finishing straight now. 350 metres to go. As they turn the bend, it's down to 300 metres to go. Wouter Claes does what he always does. Puts in the power, but Secure the Bag, as we thought, putting in that final sprint. It's probably a bit far to reach Wouter now, but he's probably going to get second place at the rate he's going. Will he or won't he? And Alistair McAlpine's fighting back, though. And it's James Melville, who I thought was going to do better, who is the 4th place. Secure the Bag takes second, just picking out Alistair. Alistair getting 2 spots between him and Jan van Oudenhout, though, as Kanai comes in 5th. So Alistair McAlpine sort of putting 3 points ahead of Jan. He comes in now, the R3R rider. Fantastic. Marina Sesson, one of the great riders of this. I'm a little bit surprised didn't stick with the front group. Nevertheless, another great ride. And the Italian coming in 7th there. Rob Miller, disappointingly dropping off the group. The guy who's really the man who sort of kind of, as far as I'm concerned, with the interaction we have, is the man who organises the R3R stuff. I'm very surprised to see him drop off, but it was never a problem because he was always too far ahead of the next rider, which looks like it's going to be Andre Canetzi. Just look at this. Wouter doing what he does best, pulling away, Secure the Bag with a fantastic sprint, but look at Alistair just come round and pass his teammate and take that extra point ahead. Here comes Andre Canetzi, turning up for South Africa, New Zealand, I think for the first time in this series, but one of the riders that's been around with us 4 years, and not when I say 4 years, I mean 4 years, FOR, not FR. FOUR. Although we are in our 4th year, so maybe he has been with us for 4 years. He probably has, actually. So 4 years or 4 years, you take your choice. Andre Canetzi, back for Sands. Great to see you back, Andre. And well done on getting 9th. Great finish. And I'm pretty sure that Johan Olofsson will be pleased with that. Stevie Cooper, who had that disappointing fall off the back, nevertheless, only beaten by one of the riders in that group behind him. Will Brown, Ryan Hamilton coming in, as that group has obviously fragmented. Cole Dickerson, the next one to come in, another one of the South Africa, New Zealand riders. They're doing quite well in the team competition. If you look at Glasgow United and South Africa, New Zealand, for small teams, they put in brilliant results. They've got some great riders. R3R as well, fantastic team representation in this series. Craig Jones, the Welshman, at 14th. This is all fragmented. But look behind, we have a group that's a little bit tighter. Gautam Thakkar, Grant Webb, Top Jimmy. There's a threesome. I say threesome. There's a trio. There's a trinity there. We'll talk about threesomes. Craig Jones, well done, Craig, finishing 14th. Grant Webb looks to have pulled away from the other two, though. Gautam Thakkar is chasing him, though. Can Gautam get him? He's pulleys. Oh, the finishing line's going to come a bit too quick. And just this time, Top Jimmy coming in 17th. Great to see you there, James from Uxbridge, of course. He lives down the road. Top Jimmy and Gautam Thakkar probably only live a couple of miles from each other, actually. Shields, the next one to come in, 18th. Again, solo, this is fragmented. I think Stuart Thorne's on his own. Danny Stein and Walker, though, could be in a little battle coming up for 18th and so what are we talking about? 20th and 21st, actually. So it's another little sprint to come. Well done, Shields. 150 metres to go. We can see the finishing line banner in the distance. 0 degree gradient, so 0% gradient, I should say, and crosses the line nicely. Well done. Stu Thorne had to ride on his own, but he often does the front of our team time trials, so he knows how to ride into a wind. Well done, Stu. And Stu did the Tactor Tour with me last weekend, and not the weekend just gone, but weekend before that, and his first one did a very good time too. So well done, Stu, on your first expedition into the Alps. Danny Stein, and we've seen a lot of these South Africa New Zealand jerseys coming in, a very credible 20th. There's Walker in the green now, another Scottish saltire crossing the line. Santos, the Portuguese, is going to come in next. We haven't had any of those tight sprints yet. Ian Suddersby, nice to see him back. I'm not sure it's Suddersby or Sudderby, but say Sudderby, I think. Great to see Ian back and crossing the line there in, what have we got, 23rd. Marchie is 24th in the, looks like an Ineos Grenadiers jersey, doesn't it, actually? Eileen Davison, 25th, First Lady home. She'll be absolutely pleased with that. Puts her a step closer maybe to getting the ladies competition. Gilmore is next, coming in 26th with 120 metres to go as we go along this straight. It's a shame there's not a few more little sprints in this one. We usually get quite a few nice little tussles, not so much on this one, but I think this is testimony to the pressure on the front, and these summer crowds are a little bit smaller than we get in the winter when there's more groups. Lafitte pour La France, is crossing the line next in 27th. Well done. As we look at the results there, Eileen Davison just squeezing in top 25 behind Al Marchi. Ian Suds, Santos, Andrew Walker, Danny Staines at 20th, Stuart Thorne 19th, William Shields 18th, Top Jimmy, James from Uxbridge at 17th, just behind his neighbour from Mickenham, Gopin Thacker, Grant Webb 15th, Craig Jones from Wales 14th, Cole Dickerson, and we get Librets coming in next. Caracella for Spain is going to be 29th. Going back to the results on the side, we've got up to Cole Dickerson at 13th for South Africa New Zealand time, behind Ryan Hamilton. Will Brown, great to see you back. Will, haven't seen you for a while. I know why, but nevertheless, it's great to see you here on a Wednesday. Stevie Cooper taking 10th. Andre Gnetzi 9th in his first race for this season. Rob Miller dropping out that front group, but still managing a very good 8th. And Marino Sesson is 7th. Jan van Oudenaarde is 6th and lost ground a little bit to Alistair McAlpine, who came 3rd. Between them, Yuchi Kanai and James Melville. Lajnik, I think it's Slovenia. It's hard to tell. There's two flags that are like that, and the size of the flag on the screen, I'm guessing it's Slovenia. I do apologise if it's not. And Egar is next at 31st. And I always like this jersey. I don't know what it is. Russ Egar. I'm not sure what that jersey is, or whether it's just one of the stock ones or not. But I always think this is quite an eye-catching little jersey that they put in into Wahoo RGT. So well done. And Suter, another Belgian. Love the jersey. This is like a fashion show now, isn't it? I like that jersey, and I've always liked that jersey. Again, I'm not sure if it's a club one or just one on the RGT boutique, but I've always liked that jersey. And anyway, De Suter now is, I'm guessing, a Wallonian, given the due. Nico De Suter. Sute, probably. I'm guessing Wallonian, given that it's a more French-sounding name than a Flemish one. And nevertheless, Belgium does produce great cyclists from both sides of the divide, doesn't it? And what a great country it is. If you've never cycled in Belgium, I'm telling you, it's fantastic. It is one of my favourite countries to visit. So, De Sute crossing the line next. Lee Perry, another rider from Uxbridge, actually. is coming. Oh no, sorry, I beg your pardon. Lee Perry's from Burnley. I do beg your pardon. Lee Perry from Burnley, who's just started riding with us, and I don't know if he kind of moved from Scotland to Burnley, but uses the Scottish Saltire against his name. So well done, Lee. Great to have on the team as well. Miguel Canada coming in next. Now, what's the gap? He's got 18 metres on Maria Vitsky from Puerto Rico this time. Is Maria going to make that up? She's just closed that a little bit to 15, and she does do this to him. There's a little bit of a rivalry, I think, between these two. She got down to 14, and she keep this going. Russell 31st is the last finisher on our board. Mickey Ken is 34th, so there's probably a problem missing off the board. They'll come through, don't worry. Maria's got it down at 14 metres, but she's running out of space now. Can she get it down a little bit? I bet she's really working for this. 12, 13. Oh, 300 metres to go. Oh, can she get it under 10? She's absolutely going for 8 metres now. She can see it. She takes the inside of the bend, and it's exactly what I said earlier. If you take the inside of the bend, you can make up metres. And look at the way Maria's taken that extra place. Absolutely fantastic. Can she hold it? Miguel Canada now Miguel Canada's got in front of her. He's lost again, and he's absolutely gone for it. So, what great tactics, only for it to be lost. Miguel responding and taking it cleanly. Bad luck, Maria, but that was as it just shows you how brilliant the back of this can be. Jessica, I tell you what will go down in history is that Jessica beat Marcin Schluderek. And Jessica, every week for the last few races, she's got in late from work, and she got in about 7:05 this evening, and the race starts at 7:30. And she was just absolutely thrilled to get back into it. Jessica loves racing, kind of doesn't mind being in the latter stages of the race. But look at that. Great rider like Martin Schudere. I mean, he's obviously got problems, but, we won't let the facts get in the way of a good story. Jessica's just beaten Marcin here, so Jessica, right. So this will be a big day for her. And Carcella as well, further back. Not sure if there's a reason there. It looks like Van der Beers has had a problem. Matt Feely fell out of this as well. Tom Alsop looks like he's cycling, but has got 12 kilometres to go. I don't know what happened to Matt Feely because he was up there. Obviously had some sort of dropout. So that's a little bit unfortunate. 3 dropouts there that we can see. Van der Beers, Matt Feely and Tom Alsop, all decent riders as well. And Schluderek, clearly something has gone wrong because Marcin does not finish this far back. But let's let Jessica have her moment, shall we? Let's all enjoy the wonderful moment when Jessica finishes. She's beaten 2 riders this week, so that's absolutely fantastic. And if you take the dropouts, 5. So Jessica, well done, absolutely terrific. She's up there in the northwest of England in Lancashire, and she is just such a lovely lady. We love this. As was Maria. And Maria, that was fantastic at the end. So both these ladies towards the back contributing so much. Marcin, another one of my favourite riders, actually. I've known Marcin. I've never met the guy. I know he comes from Wrocław in Poland, a town I've visited many, many times. And he seems from social media and chats a very nice person too. Riding for the Moon Riders team, as you can tell from the kit there, the white with that green band across. Moon Riders just because people who rode at night, because you got home from work and went on the Smart Trainer, and that's how they named themselves. So, and this is another thing I like. When rider does have a bad day, they actually finish the race off. There's no sort of throwing the toys out the pram and stopping. Tom Alsop seems to be moving at the moment, so Matt Feely's not. Van der Beers not moving, so I don't know if Tom's going to finish the race, but he's got a long way to go. He's got 11 kilometres. Well done, Marcin. Great to see you here today. Well done. Probably get some points from Moon Riders team in the team competition anyway, I think. Not as many as Wouter would have got. Wouter would have got 100 points for finishing first, of course. You get 100 points for first, 99 for second, 98 for third. In the ladies' race, the first lady will get 100, and you count backwards. And if the next lady's 10 places further back, she'll get 90. She's 5 further back, she'll get 95. So it matters to try and beat men on the line as we saw Maria do. That would have been great if she'd beaten Miggy there, but not for Miggy, obviously. And didn't he respond well? I mean, the moment she took that corner cutting and looked like she had just overtaken him, he responded straight away and pulled it all back and 10 metres more. So fantastic little tussle between those two. It's not the first time, and I think that should actually become one of the institutional highlights of these broadcasts. The Jessica Miggy struggle, Maria Miggy struggle at the back. Jessica's always featured in this because she's just such a character, always just riding at the back there. And what a day she's had, finishing ahead of a couple of decent riders here. As Oscar Carosella comes up towards that bend, and Tom Allsop's still riding there, 10 kilometres to go. And I don't think we've probably got the time to go back and follow Tom over 10 kilometres. We can have a quick look at how he's going before we depart, I think, just to give him a bit of coverage and say well done for... Oh, he's stopped again now. Something clearly wrong, because if you stop and start again, I think there's probably an internet connection of some sort that's playing up, because it's sort of seeming to come and go in Tom's case. So that's... We'll have a look, see if we can go back and help fix his puncture. Probably not. Carosella. Oscar Carosella coming up to the finishing line, 102 metres. Quick look along the Robert Gilmore, 26. Thierry Lafitte, de France, 27. Ivo Liebretz, 28. Chema Carosella, 29th. Thomas Slasnik, 30th. Razeska, 31st. As we look at Van der Baal's stop, Tom Allsop stopped as well. Carrying on with the rundown of the finishers. Nico de Sute, France. Lee Perry from Burnley up there in Lancashire, Scotsman. Migu Canada and Maria Kristinowicki with that thrilling little tussle at the end. We had to go right to the end to get the second best or equal first duel of the day among when you consider how tight the front one was. Jessica Wright, as ever. Martin Sudrake, what a champion for bothering to finish. Oscar Carosella finishing 38th, and of course the dropouts. Thanks very much to ZMS for yet more brilliant coverage. Thank you very much, Damon. Look out tomorrow night and Saturday night, your last chances to ride and be able to say you were in the very first Chase the Yellow. This is going to become a big event over the years, I think. Make sure you're part of it. We at West London VR have certainly ridden in some of the Chase the Yellow stages when the trains have allowed me to get home in time to do them, and they have been fantastic, by the way. So make sure you're in part of that. Only 2 more chances to say you were part of it, so that's tomorrow night and Saturday night. I won't be in either, I'm afraid. I shall be cycling over to France for the real Tour de France myself, and hopefully we'll be somewhere near the Champs-Elysees on Sunday evening. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time on West London VR, and ZMS will no doubt have lots more on for you to watch as well. Thanks very much, Damon. Thanks very much to everybody who's watched this, everybody who's raced in it, for making such another entertaining West London VR race. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.